Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Builds, and today we're dealing with the 2015 MG3. Now this has 668 horsepower, 682 pounds-feet of torque from a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,293 pounds, has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 3.425 seconds, 0 to 100 in 5.981 seconds, and going to a top speed of 187 miles an hour. So this is the third Chinese built financed car that we've had on this series so far, with the Neo EP9 being in the previous episode and the Wuling Sunshine S being in a couple of episodes before that. So yeah, and the Wuling is currently the best of the bunch at 3 minutes 31.470. So that's where I'm really trying to aim for in terms of being the time to beat. And yeah, the stats overall are fairly consistent. The speed, handling, acceleration, launch, braking and off-road capability are all pretty good. I've had cars that have been way better in some aspects. Acceleration and launch usually up into the high 9s, 10s, or at 10, but then the handling has been in the 4s, or the braking's been in that kind of range. So to have everything above 5 and all but 1 above 6 is fairly consistent. So yeah, I'm hoping this will do well, because I like, underdogs, and this is definitely an underdog, especially since it has more than 6 times the power it had originally, and yeah, it certainly wasn't meant for going this fast with all-wheel drive and going off-road. So yeah, a lot going against this car, but I do hope it does well. Shouldn't fall over, I hope. And again, I wasn't particularly expecting that with the FJ40 a while ago, but that's what happened, so there we go. Yeah, this definitely should have a lower centre of gravity than that car. And even though it's got far from the most power I've had on a vehicle in this series, I think it's a fairly, reasonable amount for this car. Because even though it's not quite as extreme as some vehicles, in the context of what this car had originally, it is definitely extreme. Because like I said, 6 times or more the power that it had originally, which is obviously quite a sizable increase. Never mind the fact that this could only do 112 miles an hour in stock form, and this is doing 0 to 60 in about half the time it took to get from 0 to 100, sorry, in about half the time it took for this car originally to get from 0 to 60. So definitely a massive speed boost for this car, and it's dealing with the power and the all-wheel drive system and everything else we're throwing at it in terms of upgrades of this course really rather well. No issues at all. Now, one thing I did forget to say in my review is that there was a trophy version of this, a concept, that had more than 200 horsepower and a big wing and whatever else. And yeah, it's a shame that that car never came to fruition, because yeah, a really solid car to drive, I imagine. It would be technically China's first hot hatchback, so that would have been a nice car had it got the go ahead, but unfortunately it has not. Certainly sounds like a rally car though. It won't be the first time MG has done that either with the Metro 6R4, whatever it's called. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's the fastest of cars, but it's definitely hanging in on there. Getting up to about 140 down there though, which is reasonable. Well here, because this is a little bit tighter and a little bit narrower. Out of the way, animal. You got no time for braking. Unnecessarily, that is. For a fast time by the looks of it. Well, we're definitely the fastest Chinese vehicle, and we're one of the fastest cars we've had on this series so far, with a really impressive 3 minutes 24.863, which puts it into third place of all things. This little underrated MG has managed to get into third place, a really solid podium position as well. It's about half a second quicker than the GMC Jimmy, and yeah, smashes out the park the Wuling Sunshine S, which, like I said at the beginning, did a time of 3 minutes 31.470, so we're what, just under 7 seconds ahead of that, and way ahead of the Neo EP9, which managed a time of 3 minutes 33.130, so we're nearly 10 seconds quicker than that Neo, which, considering, you know, it's a far more technologically advanced car, absolutely wasn't as quick as you would have expected. But then again, that is not a track, that is not an ordinary road car like this. That is a fully fledged track car, so to expect it to deal with any off-road elements was, yeah, expecting a little bit too much judging by its time. But yeah, this car has done brilliantly. Really surprised by how well it's done. But then again, it is, I think, the first, you know, more small, modern, more ordinary vehicle that we've had on this series. Yeah, obviously we have had the Renault 4L, which is a kind of more ordinary car, but that is from the 60s, and yeah, there is no other modern car that is a more ordinary kind of everyday vehicle that we've taken so far. So yeah, especially in terms of ones that are as small and as lightweight as this, and yeah, I think that's the thing that really gave it the edge. It's got a really rather, you know, tight turning circle, it's got a small wheelbase, it's very little in the way of weight, and it's got a huge amount of power for that weight, and yeah, it's very agile and very kind of nimble around the corners that it needs to be. So yeah, massive surprise there, but I'm glad it has done as well as it has, and yeah, only the DeLorean DMC-12 and the Toyota Hilux AT38 have managed to beat it, and they had more power than we did, and in terms of the Toyota, was meant for going off-road. So yeah, massive surprise there, and yeah, hopefully the MG or other new vehicles will be able to match this or not, or beat it, because yeah, that was a quick time and a really rather fun drive as well. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.